For 6,000 cycles, the galactic consensus had operated under one absolute, inviolable law: never weaponize dimensional technology. The ancients had left ruins across the galaxy, warnings etched in every known language and several unknown ones. The message was always the same: we open the doors between realities. We cannot close them. Learn from our extinction. Every species that reached spacefaring status learned this law. Some learned it from the consensus. Others learned it from their own near-apocalypses. The technology existed, folding space, accessing parallel dimensions, but it was strictly regulated. Transport only. Research only. Never, ever weapons. The Council had dismissed humanity as harmless when they arrived. Curious little primates who'd barely crawled out of their gravity well. Decent engineers, creative thinkers, but nothing special. Space monkeys was the term that circulated in the less diplomatic circles. That was before the Battle of Proxima Station. The Xyrillian Empire had been expanding aggressively for decades. They'd grown bold, ignoring consensus treaties, conquering fringe worlds. When they hit Proxima, a human colony of 4 million, the consensus debated sanctions while civilians died. Earth's response was not diplomatic. The UESS Pandora appeared in Proxima space with zero warning. Not from FTL, but from nowhere. One moment empty space, the next a human warship. This is Captain Sarachon of the United Earth Space Service. Xyrillian fleet, you have 30 seconds to withdraw from Proxima Station or we will open fire. The Xyrillian War Master laughed. One human destroyer against his battle fleet of 47 warships? He didn't even bother responding. At 29 seconds, the Pandora fired. Except fired wasn't the right word. The ship didn't launch missiles, or the flagship didn't explode. It imploded, folding into itself as matter from 3 different dimensions occupied the same space. The spatial anomaly lasted 0.7 seconds before collapsing, leaving nothing but a perfectly spherical void where a 2-kilometer warship had been. 46 ships. Chen's voice was ice. 28 seconds left. The Xyrillian fleet scattered. 15 ships tried to flee. The Pandora opened 15 rifts, each one appearing inside an enemy vessel's critical systems. Not in front of them, inside them. There was no defense. No shield could stop something that bypassed space entirely. 22 seconds remaining, and the Xyrillian War Master surrendered. The emergency consensus session was the most heated in recorded history. You did what? High Chancellor Vortex's voice resonated through the chamber. The hologram of Captain Chun stood calm in the center, surrounded by outraged delegates from 40 species. We weaponized dimensional fold technology, Chun stated simply. We call them rift cannons. That is forbidden. The crystalline collective's representative literally cracked with fury. The ancients' warning. We read the warnings, Chun interrupted. We studied the ancient ruins. We learned from their mistakes. Their mistake was using it. No, Chun said quietly. Their mistake was opening rifts they couldn't control. They pulled things through from other dimensions. We don't do that. We create localized, controlled breaches that collapse within microseconds. We don't open doors. We punch holes and immediately seal them. The risk is calculated and managed. Unlike the risk of watching colonies die while the consensus debates. Chen's voice hardened. For a million humans at Proxima, the Xyrillians were 3 hours from orbital bombardment. Tell me, Chancellor, how many emergency sessions would you have held while they burned? The chamber fell silent. We're not sorry, Chen continued. We're practical. You call us space monkeys? Fine. We're the space monkeys who remembered that our ancestors survived on Earth by breaking the rules that got other species killed. We domesticated fire while everyone else feared it. We split the atom while others said it was sacred. And we weaponized dimensional technology because when our people are dying, we don't wait for permission to save them. She paused, letting that sink in. Here's what happens next. The Xyrillians don't touch human space. Anyone who does gets a demonstration of why humans don't respect rules written by extinct species. And the consensus can either condemn us or acknowledge that sometimes the biggest rule needs breaking. The vote took 3 days. The result: humanity was censured, sanctioned, and quietly asked to provide dimensional rift specifications to consensus defense forces. Because as much as they hated to admit it, the galaxy had learned something about humans. They weren't just space monkeys. They were the species crazy enough to look at the universe's biggest do not touch sign and ask, but what if we're really, really careful? And somehow, impossibly make it work.